Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I go any further, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Now hold on just a moment. I need to adjust my stream on YouTube. Okay, that's better. I had to manually set it to 720p. Okay, as a reminder, the focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options with Doug chat channel in Discord is options, order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading. The first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look to see how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to help develop a thesis regarding volatility and expected trading range for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step of my process is real-time order flow. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups, both entries and exits. And I think this two-step process with positional analysis and real-time order flow and market maker hedging flow is a new way of looking at the market, and I think it provides significant edge. And questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both Discord and YouTube for questions and comments. And in Discord, please post your questions and comments in the Options-with-Doug chat channel. Okay, let's get started. And what I want to cover today is, first of all, go over some news items, economic data, reports, events, and earnings. And then I'll go through our positional analysis, and then we'll take a look at setups. And there were a lot of great setups today, a lot of reversal higher setups this morning. So first of all, the news. Economic data tomorrow. There are a couple of items. The durable goods orders and GDP coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then on Friday at 8:30 a.m. there's the PCE, and at 10 a.m. Michigan consumer sentiment. And earnings, of course, I think the big news today is the Microsoft earnings. And let's just take a look at, let's go take a quick look at Bookmap, and let's go take a look at Microsoft. So Microsoft reported earnings after the close yesterday. So I'm looking at yesterday and today. So Microsoft reported right after the close yesterday, zoomed way up, and then I think, well, when their conference call, there was, I guess, Satya Nadella gave weak guidance, and Microsoft dropped lower, gapped down this morning, moved all the way down to this 231 level, and has rallied ever since. And we'll take a look at Hero and see what what traders are doing with options. And that is certainly helping to drive order flow. And we'll take a look at Hero. So there's Microsoft, big jump after the open conference call starts, weak guidance, and Microsoft drops lower, and then it looks like it's just trading back up to around the 240 key gamma strike level. And that was the primary target for a long this morning. All right, so that's Microsoft. That was the big, really the big event for today, until Tesla reports earnings this afternoon. So that should be, certainly that will move Tesla and could be a market mover as well, although Tesla does not have the same influence on the market as Microsoft. And then as far as events go, the next big event is the FOMC meeting next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, with the announcement and press conference on Wednesday. And that will be during my session next week on Wednesday. Okay, let's take a look at our positional analysis now. And first of all, let's take a look at the Spotgamma levels on some charts. We bring up Bookmap. We'll go to the S&P 500, and while we're waiting on that, I'm going to take a look at a couple Thinkorswim charts. And this is a Thinkorswim 20-day 1-hour chart for SPX. And it may be a little bit difficult to see here. It's on the far right. And we'll take a look at a zoomed in level in just a moment. So this is showing all of the key levels. And here's the put wall. And that has actually jumped up from 3,800 yesterday. Here's the call wall. And that has increased also. And the put wall is the strike with the largest net negative gamma, and can be expected to act as support. And then the call wall is the strike with the largest net positive gamma, and can be expected to act as resistance. So what we can see here is SPX gap down lower, traded right down to the 3950 level. And we'll look at that in a zoomed in view in just a moment. And then is traded higher. Okay, let me take a look at questions. So yes, we will look at Tesla. There's a question about see traders buying calls on Tesla. That's one of the setups that we will look at. And there's a question about being able to share this Thinkorswim script, and there's really no point in it. It changes every day, and I'm not going to share it every day. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers every day, and I talked about this yesterday, where to find it and how to add it to Thinkorswim. So it changes every day. You have to manually update it in Thinkorswim every day. So this is not my script. This is from Spotgamma. So again, it's available to Spotgamma subscribers. Okay, great. All right, so let's take a look now at a closer view. And the reason I do this shows this is just the clean SPX levels, and showing how SPX price action reacts at these levels, and also how these levels have changed. So that is the longer time frame view. And let's go take a look now at a shorter time frame, this is the 2-day 1-minute chart. And the thing to note here is, again, the gap down in SPX and that 39.50. And that was noted as support in the Spotgamma AM Founders note. And it traded just a little bit lower, but that 39.50 level held as support as expected. And price, once it gapped down, went down and tested that level just after 10:30, has rallied since then. And this just shows the importance of these SPX levels. The SPX round numbers, the gamma levels, and if you trade ES futures, you really need to track these levels. All right, so let's go look at Bookmap. And what this is showing, I have 2 columns with levels, and these are the Spotgamma cloud notes, and these are also available to Spotgamma subscribers, and this is updated automatically. I don't have to do anything manually. And this is showing the key SPX levels converted to an equivalent ES number. Right now, Spotgamma is still using a 20-point difference between ES and SPX, and it's about 15 points now. So these numbers are wrong. They should be 5 points lower. So I have, this is my own cloud notes. Excuse me. These are my own cloud notes, and I note the support and resistance levels that were in the AM Founders note this morning, and I have shifted mine down to the correct 15-point difference. So this is showing the support at the 39.50 level, which is equivalent to ES 39.65. So there's the reversal at the just after 10:30. Reversal at the again the 39.50 level. Break of this trend. A lot of aggressive buyers coming in. And you can see that by the green dots and also the rising cumulative volume delta line. That's the dark blue. So a lot of aggressive buyers coming in at that level. And we'll take a look at a hero in a minute and see what options traders were doing. So those are the levels in play. And we've looked at a larger time frame and then zoomed down, and then finally looking at Bookmap and combining those levels with order flow. So there were some shifts in levels, all higher yesterday. First of all, the SPX and SPY volatility triggers both shifted higher. SPX is now at 40.10 and SPY at 401. And that volatility trigger is the Spotgamma proprietary gamma flip level with positive gamma above and negative gamma below. And negative gamma means that market makers will be trading with price action to hedge their delta exposure. And above the volatility trigger, that would be in a positive gamma or a call gamma dominated environment, and market makers would be trading against price action to hedge their delta exposure. So that indicates below the volatility trigger there's going to be more volatility because market makers are trading with price action, and above the volatility trigger less volatility because market makers will be trading against price action. So there's the volatility trigger, both shifted higher, and also the SPX put wall shifted higher from 3,800 to 3,900, and also the SPX call wall shifted higher from 40.50 to 4,100. And for the NASDAQ, I just tracked QQQ, and the volatility trigger shifted higher also. The put wall shifted higher as well from 260 to 280. So given that's bullish. The shifts in levels higher are bullish. So let's take a look now at, we'll take a look at the absolute gamma charts for first of all for the S&P 500. And these are the levels of high gamma. And what we're looking at, here's the zero line. And above that line, the black lines are call gamma, or positive gamma. Below that line, the teal lines are put gamma, or negative gamma. So for SPX, here's the put wall now. And remember, this was 3,800 was the put wall yesterday, and that was really out of play, not in range. So now the put wall, again, that's the strike with the largest net negative gamma, has shifted up to 3,900. And the key gamma strike, or the absolute gamma strike, remains at 4,000, and that is the strike with the largest absolute gamma. And that's pretty obvious, visually obvious. And now, again, the call wall has shifted up to the 4,100 level. So, again, the put wall, call wall have both shifted higher for SPX, and that's bullish. And SPY, no shifts higher in the levels other than the volatility trigger. So the put wall remains at 390, and call wall, or the key gamma strike, remains at 400, and the call wall at 410, and that's pretty obvious. Not much put gamma at that level, and a lot of call gamma. And one thing to note here is the build in call positions above the 400 level. Now there's still, SPY is still put dominated. There's still plenty of put positions below 400. And we'll take a look at gamma notional in just a moment and see that that actually shifted more negative. So the put even though there's a build in call positions, the put dominance increased in SPY. So that's SPX and SPY. Let's take a look at the QQQ charts. So again, for NASDAQ, all I look at is QQQ. NDX is not significant. So for QQQ, here's the put wall at 280, and that's pretty obvious. The strike with the largest net negative gamma. And then that is also the key gamma strike. So that's also the strike with the largest absolute gamma. And then the call wall up here at 295. And you can see there's a large difference, a lot more call gamma than put gamma at that level. So let's take a look at data now. I'm going to look at gamma notional as usual. So this is showing market maker's position on the gamma curve. For SPX in the left column, SPY here, and then QQQ on the far right. And gamma notional has shifted more negative or lower for all of these instruments. So first of all, yesterday, SPX gamma notional was 268, and it shifted down to 75. So still slightly positive but shifted down from yesterday. And then SPY yesterday shifted down more negative from minus 708 yesterday to minus 1254 today. And then QQQ was slightly positive yesterday at 45 and has shifted down now to minus 273. All right, so there's a question in Discord. What is the significance with a diversion on gamma notional for SPX versus SPY? Does one dominate over the other, and how do you read the difference? And that's been pretty typical lately, and I think the SPY gamma notional dominates. It's so much larger. It's almost always much larger than SPX. So again, that's pretty typical, and I give a greater weighting to SPY, to the SPY gamma notional. Let's take a look at Vanna models. And this is just a quick visual representation of what I was talking about. So remember, the gamma notional for SPX is 75, and that's pretty neutral. And that's what this Vanna model is showing. So this is showing market makers delta notional on the vertical axis and how that changes with price. That's on the horizontal axis, and how it also changes with implied volatility, and that's shown by the green line, and that's the current expiration, and that's the Vanna effect, the change of delta with the change in implied volatility. And then the black line shows the change in delta notional at the next expiration, or as time passes, and that is the delta charm effect, the change in delta with a change in time. So pretty neutral for SPX. SPY still sloping up from right to left, typical in a negative gamma environment, again showing market makers delta notional increases as price drops, and they have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure, and they can buy back futures as price increases since their delta notional is dropping. And then we'll take a look at quick look at QQQ. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then let's take one final look. This is my key gamma strike spreadsheet, and I track this every day. And this shows in the far right column previous key gamma strike, and that was for yesterday. And then the current key gamma strike is for today, and I color code these. Green indicates that the price increased from the previous day, and red indicates that the price key gamma strike decreased. So the thing to note here is on Monday there was a lot of green. So recall the big rally on Friday, and I think every stock on my list almost there was no red. They were all green, all rising key gamma strikes. And then that, excuse me. So then yesterday there were still several stocks with rising key gamma strikes, and then that has slowed down today. So showing more of a, I guess, a neutral stance. So a couple stocks red with lower key gamma strikes, and a couple green. So all in all, based on this data alone, I was looking for a higher volatility day, wider trading range due to the drop in gamma notional, and so looking for again a wider trading range, higher volatility than yesterday, and also bullish based on the rising volatility triggers for SPX and SPY and QQQ, the rising put wall and call wall for SPX, and then the rising volatility trigger and put wall for QQQ. All that is bullish. So the only wrench in there, the only thing that threw a wrench in there was the Microsoft earnings, which again led to I think led to a gap down this morning that as we'll see, did not last long. Okay, so let's take a look at some setups now. And before I get into the usual day trading setups, one thing that I want to take a look at is take a look at a longer term position that I was trying to fill and never got filled, but I'll talk about my reasoning for doing that and plan to talk more about that as time goes on. So what I'm going to do, I have the stock that I want to look at on my other computer. Okay, so the stock is Mara. And what I was looking at, so I started looking at Tastyworks. That's an options trading platform that I used, and looking at my universe of stocks. The stocks that I look at are the Spotgamma hero list. I think there are about 200 stocks, and in Tastyworks, I rank those by the IV rank, implied volatility rank, and that shows how the current implied volatility, how high or low it is in relation to how I think in the past year, maybe longer time period. So a high IV rank means that the IV rank for that stock, the IV, is higher than it has been in the time period, their look back time period. So Mara, Marathon Digital Holdings, was at the top of that list. So that was the first step. I was looking to sell a put or some sort of longer term position like that. And I'll talk about the position that I was actually trying to fill. So that was my first step. So I was interested in Mara, and let me just reset this. Let's take a look at Mara. Now I'm going to this going to Equity Hub here. So let me switch over. And hold on just a second. Okay, so here's Mara in Equity Hub, and this is showing the call dominance. So let's take a look at the composite view. Call dominance above 9, shown here. So the call gamma, the orange line, much greater than put gamma line. That indicates that traders have been buying calls. They're bullish. Been buying calls. Let's take a look at the skew chart, and what this is showing is the implied volatility for calls versus puts. So this line here, this is the at the money, delta 50, and that is showing, and what Spotgamma is showing here is the implied volatility for puts to the left of this line, and implied volatility for calls above this line. And the dashed lines are showing the next expiration and what this line was showing yesterday, or the prior day, and then yesterday. So this green dash line is showing there's actually increased interest in calls. And then so that's the next expiration, that's the Friday expiration. And then this is showing the solid lines are showing the next expiration about 30 days from now. So there's an interest in calls. Traders are bullish. And there's a question, how does it show that calls are dominating? So let's go back to the put call impact line. So this orange line is showing call gamma, and remember this is the market maker's position. So for stocks, Spotgamma assumes that traders are long puts, long calls, market makers are short calls, short puts. So this is the market maker's gamma position, and this indicates, notice the wide difference. The call gamma is almost twice, as we go down here, almost twice the put gamma, and still it dominates from pretty much, this line is showing the crossover at about 8. And notice also the call gamma at these strikes, the orange bars, much greater than the blue lines, the negative gamma, the put gamma. So call gamma a lot greater than put gamma. So call dominated traders are interested in buying calls. So again, first of all, I see that the IV is high, IV rank is high, and also given this call domination, the call skew, traders are bullish on the stock. So I was looking for a dip to buy, just like a lot of other people were doing today, and to enter a bullish position. So what I was looking to do was, let me go to Thinkorswim, and that's for Microsoft. Let's go to Mara. That's an earnings play on Microsoft. We'll go to Mara. And what I was trying to do is fill this, and this is a tasty trade, or tasty live, they call themselves now, position called a Jade Lizard, and it's a short put and a short call spread. And I was trying to get this filled, and I never could get it filled. The bid-ask spreads in Mara were just too wide this morning, and I was not willing to give in more than a penny or two, and I never could get filled. But this is what I was trying to get filled. So let me go back and let's take a look at Bookmap. And I'm going to go back to, so here is, and let me just get rid of this. Oops. Go Go back to Bookmap. So I was watching it this morning and saw that Mare found support around the $8 level. So that's where I should have probably just tried to sell a put. But anyway, I was trying to fill that Jade Lizard, never got it filled. So anyway, that was my reasoning. And that's how I was looking to buy the dip. All right, so let's, and again, I'm going to spend more time talking about these longer term positions. So this morning I did have a long put spread in NVIDIA, a longer term position, and I used the drop down to, it was not a very good position, but I used the dip this morning to wiggle out of that with a small profit. So, all right, so let's take a look at some setups now, and let's go take a look at Hero. And there were a lot of good setups this morning, so I'm going to go through these pretty quickly and just go in alphabetical order. And this is the first one. AMD. And there was a call divergent short this morning. So traders were selling calls. Price increased a little bit higher and then moved lower as they started buying puts. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to AMD. So that's what I was looking at first thing in the morning, and I did post my Hero watch list in Discord, ranked from weakest to strongest. So here was the short setup this morning. Absorption just below the 74 level with the 72 liquidity price target. Then let's go back and take a look at Hero again. And not really a lot of confirmation for the long, but a good divergent setup for the short first thing in the morning. All right, the next. Amazon. Looks like puts are driving here, so focus on the blue line. So the put buyers become put sellers, and that appears to be driving price action. Let's take a look at Bookmap. So nice reversal here. Oops, wrong. Try again. Get a rectangle. Notice all the big green dots coming in here. A retest of the 92 level. And price is heading up, or is headed up to the 96 hedge wall. So Microsoft threw a very short-term wrench into the bull parade, which continues. So there's Amazon. And let's go take a look at Hero again. Coinbase. That's on my other computer. Another long setup, or short setup in the morning, then long. There's Hero. There it is in Bookmap. Quick drop lower, just like everything else, and a reversal higher. Disney. Disney's on my other computer. Pretty much straight up from the open. Let's go back. Go back and take a look at Hero. There's Disney. So traders are buying calls from the open. That's shown by the rising orange line. Initially they were buying puts, then started selling puts. There's a looks like a block trade comes in here. Large institutional trader selling puts. Then both call and put lines rising, indicating traders are buying calls and selling puts. And here it is on Bookmap. And by the way, this computer that I'm looking at now on this remote screen share is it's a Mac. It's an M1 Mac Mini, one of the first of the Mac Minis with the Apple Silicon, and it is fast. And Bookmap works great on it. I'm running the 7.4 alpha version of Bookmap that is native, M1 native, and I think this is the future of computing. My main computer is a PC. I think my next main computer is going to be a Mac as well. So this Bookmap is faster on this this M1 Mac Mini with 16 gigs of RAM than it is on my PC with an AMD processor and 64 gigs of RAM. Okay, so that's Disney. Let's go back to Hero. Nice strong uptrend. And I'm just going through these in alphabetical order. All right, here's ES. So this is the S&P 500 futures, and this combines, what this is showing is a combined signal for SPX and SPY. All right, so there's some discussion in Discord. Let me just take a look at YouTube. I haven't checked for questions there either. Let me go See if there are any questions. Okay, so Trader HE is asking, what the heck did you just say? Mac Mini? Yes, it is the M1, the original Mac Mini with Apple Silicon, and I like it a lot. And it is tiny. It is about the size of a pie, and it's fast, it's stable, it works great. And Apple recently introduced the M2 versions of the Mac Mini. Excuse me. So, and they already have the Mac Studio as well, and that is running, I think, the higher end versions of the M1 processor. So again, I think this is the future of computing, and my next main computer is most likely going to be a Mac Mini. So again, they've introduced the M2 versions now. So it works great. Again, this is a native version of Bookmap, native for the M1 processor, and I've been running that for at least a month, probably longer. Okay, so this is the ES. This is the combined signal of SPX and SPI. Let's zoom in. Whoops. So initially this morning, traders were buying calls, shown by the rising orange line. Now that has leveled off some. They were buying puts as well. Let's take a look at the total line. And I think this is somewhat of a divergent setup here for the morning. Recall the reversal at SPX 3900. It's kind of choppy, but notice Hero rising. Price continues to drop, then reverses higher at the SPX 3900 level. So given this rising Hero and the 3950 level, and that was again noted as support in the founder's note. So this is a kind of a classic Hero divergent setup. See Hero rising, price continuing to fall down to an expected or anticipated support level, and then price increases. And recall we looked at the order flow in the Bookmap chart and saw all the green dots coming in, all the aggressive buyers coming in at that level. So there's ES. Let's take a look at SPY, and it'll look a lot like that. And one thing to note is I'm going to rank these by the strongest to weakest signal. And notice here what's at the top. ES, SPY, and QQQ, the indices. And these Hero signals here are showing that Hero for these indices is the strongest that it has been in the last 30 days, and that's shown by the entire range of this slider, and also in the last 5 days, and that is shown by these dots all being outside of this colored range. So that is definitely a bullish signal as well. All right, so let's take a look at SPY. and it'll look a lot like ES. Same divergence. So there's a question earlier about SPX versus SPY, gamma notional, and this is the same idea, same thing. Hero, SPY, options trades dominating ES. So market makers are hedging SPY and SPX trades with ES, with futures. Let's go back to alphabetical order. And let's take a look at Moderna now. Very strong correlation between price action and hedging flow. It looks like puts dominating here. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Moderna. So nice drop lower down to the 190 liquidity level. Price has reversed higher up to the 192 put wall and pretty much stalled there. And you can see the volume concentrated just below 191 and then at 192. There, that's shown in the session volume profile. All right, let's go back. So again, it looks like puts dominating. Traders were buying puts. They have stopped, and price has risen just a little bit as traders are buying calls. And we've already looked at Microsoft. Let's take a look at Netflix. And in YouTube, Roomba asked if you had a choice of a strike with a high IV around the same strike as a price as one with a low IV. Would a higher IV strike be better? And I'm not sure I understand your question. Be better for what? If I'm going to sell volatility, I definitely want to sell high volatility. But I'm not sure your scenario makes sense. There's, in the same expiration, probably all of the strikes are going to either have a higher IV or lower IV, similar IV. Netflix, as usual, very strong correlation between price action and hedging flow. Puts driving in the morning, and it looks like there's a put divergence and also a call divergence. Let's take a look at the total line again. Zoom in a little bit more. So Hero was creeping lower while price was making slightly higher highs, and then price falls and then starts to rise again as traders start taking bullish options positions. Okay, and then Roomba says, sorry, I meant to say open interest. And yes, I would definitely want to trade strikes with higher open interest. And it depends on the instrument too. So I know that SPY is going to be very liquid, and I can trade any strike I want in SPY within reason and get a great fill. And that may not be the case for other stocks that are not as liquid. So yes, I'm definitely looking for a strike with higher open interest for trading. All right, so there's Netflix, Nvidia, and the trade here was long. And notice the divergence here. And puts driving, so this put divergence. Traders are selling puts. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap. So we need to take a look at Netflix. And then let's take a look at Nvidia. So there's the long setup in Nvidia. Notice the order flow. This quick drop down to the 187 level, that liquidity there. Then notice all the green dots coming in, aggressive buyers coming in and move price higher to the 190 key gamma strike, and now next liquidity target at 192 and then 194 above. Right, so there's a question in. So questions about Tesla. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla, and we'll wrap up with that. All right, so let's go back to Hero now. Let's look at QQQ first, then we'll wrap it up with Tesla. All right, let's go take a look at Hero. So that's Nvidia. Put divergence, long setup. Confirmed by order flow. Take a look at QQQ. And here I thought this was a call divergence long. So traders start buying calls, shown by the rising orange line. Then price slowly responds. As traders start selling puts as well. Let's take a look at the total signal. This divergence is a little bit more clear. Hero rising, the price moves higher about 1030, 1040, something like that. Let's go take a look at Bookmap again. So there's the chop around the 282 level. All right, let me take a look at questions. Do the hero charts plot other levels? They do plot, hero charts plot some of the levels. They may not put, may not show the call wall, but typically do show, I think, put wall, key gamma strike for sure. Okay, we will show, we'll take one last, we'll take a look at Tesla, and then we'll take a last look at ES. All right, so there are a couple questions. First about Tesla, then ES. So let's go to Tesla. So Tesla and NVIDIA were about the best setups today. Reversals long. Trend break. First entry here at the 139 level. Looks like there's absorption just above the 138 hedge wall level. And price continues to move higher. So let's go take a look at Hero now for Tesla. Then we'll go back and revisit ES. So as usual, there's a very strong correlation between options trades, hedging flow, and price action. So there are call buyers again. Traders buying calls. Price chops around just a bit, watching order flow, then price reverses higher, just above the 138 hedge wall level. All right, so if there's a question about traders buying calls on Tesla, yes. So traders were buying calls. Let's see what they're doing now. Continue to buy calls. So if you're interested in chasing Tesla, traders are still buying calls. All right, and let's revisit ES. And again, this is a combined signal of SPX and SPY, and traders are fading this move. So they're buying puts. And they have stopped buying calls. So notice the call line is pretty much flattened out, whereas they continue to buy puts. And this is pretty typical. as price increases, S&P 500 traders will take negative delta positions, and as price decreases, they'll often buy the dip. They will take positive delta positions. So that's ES right now. And let me look for questions. So so I think I answered the questions, hopefully, about Tesla and ES. Questions in Discord. So Roomba, his question about open interest referring to SPY. In SPY, again, I'm not that concerned because it's so liquid, and there's going to be open interest at almost any strike that I'm considering trading. And on another stock that's less liquid, I would definitely look for a strike with higher open interest. And I think I answered the questions for regarding the Spotgamma levels on the hero charts. And we can do a quick scan through and see what we see. So nothing on Apple. So AMD, there's the key gamma strike. It also shows the last closing. All right, so we looked at the put divergence in ES in the afternoon, and RT asked, is it necessary to have Bookmap to trade your method? My method, the way I trade, yes. I find there is so much more information that I use on Bookmap rather than a candlestick chart. It's just a world of difference for me. So yes, Bookmap, you could certainly trade without it, but I can't. I trade with Bookmap. And BA today, I'm sorry, I didn't look at Boeing. We can take a quick look at Hero. I don't have it on my Bookmap charts. It's too late to load it. But we can take a look in Hero. Very strong correlation between price action and hedging flow in Boeing. So initially traders were taking negative delta positions, and then around between 10:45 and 11 they started taking bullish positions. Looks like mainly calls driving, and prices moving higher on Boeing. Okay, RT asked, it's up to you. I think Bookmap adds, as I talked about my process at the beginning of my presentation, Bookmap is a key part of my process. There are things that you see in Bookmap that you're just not going to see in a candlestick chart. You're not going to see the heat map. See where liquidity is. There's a lot of information in Bookmap charts. Liquidity, the volume dots. I can't trade without it. And Daryl asked, can you use Bookmap with options? Yes. So the trades, I gave an example this morning of Mara and how I was using all the information in the Spotgamma Equity Hub, and as well as Bookmap, as well as Tastyworks, to try and enter try and sell volatility, try and sell a put, try and sell a jade lizard, and I just couldn't get filled. The the bid-ask spreads were too wide, and I was not able to, or was not willing to give up that much in price. But yes, you can use Bookmap with options, and any trade that I talked about today, you can certainly trade with shares or futures or calls and puts. Okay. And Colin in Discord and Sladazari, I hope I answered your questions. And that is all that I have for today. So thank you on YouTube for your kind words. And Daryl asked, just discovered this channel at Bookmap. Will the session be available to rewatch? Yes. So these sessions are recorded and they are available on the Bookmap YouTube channel in the archives. And I think this recording is available soon after the session ends. So that's all I have. Very interesting day. Microsoft just threw a small wrench in the bull parade, which is now continuing. So again, that's all I have for today. Watch out for the data tomorrow. Again, GDP and let's see, tomorrow GDP and durable goods at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then that's it. So again, I will see you tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. Thanks everyone. Bye.